The Great Dane originated not in Denmark as you might think, but in Germany where he's known as a Deutsche Dogge. Breeds in his background are thought to include the Irish Wolfhound, from whom he gets his height, the Mastiff who contributed heft, and the Greyhound, responsible for his sleek physique. He was designed to hunt boar and at the time was as ferocious as his tusked adversary. Later, he was often found as an estate guardian. In 1876, the Great Dane was named the national dog of Germany, but he came to be appreciated in other countries as well, including the United States. Today, with his gentle nature and giant stature, it's no wonder that many people love this interesting dog. The Borzoi, originally called the Russian Wolfhound, can be traced back to 1650 Russia when the first standard for a breed was written. The breed standard of today is not much different from that long ago description of the perfect Borzoi. The elegant, aristocratic dogs were bred by Russian nobles to hunt wolves. The dogs used to develop the Borzoi are thought to have been Russian bear hounds, coursing hounds from Tartary, and the old Char, a tall sheepdog. Another theory is that the Arabian Greyhounds were crossed with heavy-coated Russian dogs. The American Kennel Club recognized the breed in 1891 and the name was changed from Russian Wolfhound to Borzoi in 1936. The Great Dane is often described as a gentle giant, but he's naturally protective when the situation calls for it. He's affectionate and loves people, and those qualities should never be perverted by encouraging aggressive behavior. Great Danes love children, but they must learn how to be gentle around them. One swipe of that wagging tail will knock a toddler over, so it's important to supervise their interactions. These big dogs can also learn to get along well with other pets, especially when they're raised with them since puppyhood. A fenced-in yard is necessary to keep the Great Dane from going out for a stroll on his own. He's not typically a jumper, so a 6-foot fence should be enough to keep him contained. Be aware that while adult Great Danes are pretty laid back, puppies are highly active and enjoy digging and other landscaping. You might think a Great Dane is best suited to life outdoors because of his enormous size, but just the opposite is true. He should be an indoors dog who is part of the family. When that is the case, the Great Dane is loving, learns well, and house trains easily. Left to his own devices, the amount of destruction he can do to your home and yard is beyond imagination. So don't let him enlighten you. The Borzoi has a gentle spirit. His personality ranges from serious to silly. As a companion, you can expect him to be clean, quiet, sensible, and smart. He's also stubborn, but don't let him fool you into thinking he can't be trained. That might be what he wants you to think, but with the right motivation, he's more than willing to please. You just have to offer him the right inducement, usually food, and let him know that you love him and will never put him in harm's way. And also, don't bore him with repetition. You'll lose his attention fast. A Borzoi is large and may appear menacing to those who don't know him, but he's not much of a watchdog. His attitude towards strangers varies from aloof to friendly, but in general he's trusting towards people and not suspicious. He might let you know that a stranger is in the vicinity, but it's unlikely he would attack someone. This is not a high-energy dog. Although activity levels vary, the typical Borzoi prefers a quick sprint to long-distance running, and afterwards he'll be ready to recline on your most comfortable sofa. If you want to spend the day in bed reading and eating chocolates, the Borzoi is happy to join you there. Before we continue, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button as it would mean a lot. Thanks. Any dog, no matter how nice, can develop obnoxious levels of barking, digging, counter-surfing, and other undesirable behaviors if he is bored, untrained, or unsupervised. Any dog can be a trial to live with during adolescence. Start training your puppy the day you bring him home. Even at 8 weeks old, he's capable of soaking up everything you can teach him. Don't wait until he's 6 months old to begin training, or you will have a more headstrong dog to deal with. If possible, get him into puppy kindergarten class by the time he's 10 to 12 weeks old, and socialize. However, be aware that many puppy training classes require certain vaccines like kennel cough to be up to date, and many veterinarians recommend limited exposure to other dogs in public places until puppy vaccines, including rabies, distemper, and parvovirus, have been completed. In lieu of formal training, you can begin training your puppy at home and socializing him amongst family and friends until the puppy vaccines are completed. Talk to the breeder, describe exactly what you're looking for in a dog, and ask for assistance in selecting a puppy. Breeders see the puppies daily and can make uncannily accurate recommendations once they know something about your lifestyle and personality. All dogs have the potential to develop genetic health problems, just as all people have the potential to inherit a particular disease. Run and don't walk from any breeder who does not offer a health guarantee on puppies, who tells you that the breed is 100% healthy and has no known problems, or who tells you that her puppies are isolated from the main part of the household for health reasons. A reputable breeder will be honest and open about health problems in the breed and the incidents with which they occur in their lines. The Great Dane is unfortunately prone to a host of health problems. Among the conditions that can affect the Great Dane is bloating, a condition in which the stomach expands with air. This can become a more serious condition, gastric torsion, if the stomach twists on itself, cutting off the blood supply. In the case of this grave emergency, immediate surgery is the only thing that can save his life. Great Danes also suffer from a high incidence of cardiomyopathy, a disease of the heart muscles resulting in an enlarged heart.
Great Danes are powerful giants who are regal, intelligent, and elegant with a warm temperament. These dogs are so iconic that in 1876, Germany declared the Great Dane its national dog. With a maximum height of 30 to 32 inches, these dogs are literally the tallest dogs in the world. Males weigh 140 to 175 pounds, whereas females weigh 110.
Clear the dog for the time being. A dog could test clear one day and develop heart disease the next. Great Danes can also suffer from hip dysplasia, a crippling malformation of the hip socket that may require costly surgery to repair and can result in painful arthritis later in life. Cancer is another leading cause of death in Great Danes, particularly bone cancer. They're also prone to a number of other skeletal, vision, and neurological problems, both major and minor. All in all, Great Dane wet bills, like the dogs themselves, tend to be very large. Before individual Great Danes can be included in a Canine Health Information Center (CHIC), the Great Dane Club of America requires them to have a hip evaluation from the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals, Ontario Veterinary College or PennHip, a clearance from the Canine Eye Registry Foundation, an OFA thyroid evaluation from an approved laboratory, and a cardiac evaluation from OFA or the ACVIM Registry of Cardiac Health. Borzoi are typically healthy, but they have the potential to develop some genetic health conditions, including a neck condition called Wobbler syndrome, heart disease, and eye problems such as cataracts and progressive retinal atrophy. Some Borzoi may have an abnormal response to certain anesthetic drugs or to the stress of hospitalization. The Borzoi Club of America, which is the American Kennel Club parent organization for the breed in the United States, participates in a program operated by the Canine Health Information Center (CHIC). To obtain CHIC certification for a typical Borzoi, breeders must submit heart and thyroid evaluations from the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals, the University of Missouri DNA test for degenerative myelopathy, and certifications from the Canine Eye Registry Foundation that the eyes are healthy. Optional test results that can be submitted are OFA hip and elbow evaluations. Breeders must agree to have all test results, positive or negative, published in the CHIC database. A dog need not receive good or even passing scores on the evaluations to obtain a CHIC number, so CHIC registration alone is not proof of soundness or absence of disease, but all test results are posted on the CHIC website and can be accessed by anyone who wants to check the health of a puppy's parents. A good breeder will be able to discuss the prevalence of all health problems in her dog's lines, those with and without genetic screening tests, and help puppy buyers make an informed decision about health risks to their dog. Don't fall for a dishonest breeder's sales pitch. If the breeder tells you she doesn't need to do those tests because she's never had any problem in her lines, her dogs have been vet checked, or any of the other excuses bad breeders have for skimping on the genetic testing for their dogs, walk away immediately. Careful breeders screen the breeding dogs for genetic diseases and breed only the healthiest and best looking specimens. But sometimes Mother Nature has other ideas and a puppy develops one of those diseases despite good breeding practices. Advances in veterinary medicine means that in most cases the dogs can still live a good life. If you're getting a puppy, ask the breeder about the ages of the dogs in her lines and what they died of. Remember that after you've taken a new puppy into your home, you have the power to protect him from one of the most common health problems in dogs, obesity. Keeping your dog in an appropriate weight is one of the easiest ways to extend his life. Make the most of your preventive abilities to help ensure a healthier dog for life. The Great Dane has a short, thick, smooth coat. It sheds moderately, in other words more than you think, but requires little grooming. Brush the Dane weekly with a rubber hound mitt or soft bristle brush to keep the hair and skin healthy. In spring and fall he will have a heavy shed, known as blowing the coat, and will need to be brushed more frequently during that time to get rid of all the loose hair. Bathe the Dane as you desire or only when he gets dirty. With the gentle dog shampoos available now, you can bathe the Dane weekly if you want without harming his coat. The Borzoi's long, silky coat can be flat, wavy, or even a little curly. Although it looks glamorous, it's not especially difficult to care for. It's resistant to dirt and mud, which just drops off when the coat dries. Brush the coat weekly with a pin brush, but be sure to check for mats behind ears and in the area where the legs meet the body. Bathe the Borzoi only as needed. Borzois shed heavily. Regular brushing will help keep those hair off your furniture, floors, and clothing. The rest is basic care. Trim the nails as needed, usually once a month, and good dental hygiene is important, so brush the teeth frequently for good overall health and fresh breath. Check the ears weekly for dirt, redness, or a bad odor that can indicate an infection. If the ears look dirty, wipe them out with a cotton ball dampened with a gentle ear cleaner recommended by your veterinarian. It's best to introduce your dog to grooming at an early age so he will accept it gracefully. Alright guys, which one do you think you'll get? Tell me down in the comments.